Bulk deformation processes are those processes where the thickness or the cross sections are reduced, of course. But sheet forming operations involve the deformation of materials whose thickness and cross section remain relatively constant. I just used the words a little while ago of plate and sheet. Technically, there is a definition that up to this thickness we will call it sheet, and beyond that thickness we will call the same thing a plate. So plates are thicker sheets. Sheets, because they are thin, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter, because they are thin, so they go through other type of manufacturing processes. Therefore, sheet forming is not general bulk deformation. General bulk deformation is like forging and rolling and extrusion and so on. And sheet forming is also bulk deformation of very thin thickness. So therefore, it is separated out as sheet forming, right? And then of course, whether bulk deformation or sheet, it can be done as cold, warm and hot. Cold, we have said earlier also, cold does not mean cold. Cold means room temperature. Room temperature is called cold working. Hot working means seriously hot, close to melting, below that. Warm is somewhere in between. So this can be a third thing, the warm and so on. But generally it is cold and hot. Cold means room temperature, hot means any higher temperature. Therefore, when you hot working, if I ask you to stop it and give me 3, 4, 5, 6 major points, just advantages, disadvantages, what it is and so on of hot working, you just think, right? What is hot working? What type of equipment does it need? What are its advantages? What are its limitations? So I am sure that you stop this slide and write those points down, or mentally write those points and then look at this list again, and you will see I could think of almost all of them myself. So I keep on reminding you that you see you have a very good Thanaviya background, then you have 3 years of education here in science and engineering, right? If it is your 4th year. So you already have a very good background of science and engineering, and all of you are top students of the country. So intellectually there is no issue. Therefore, whenever a new topic is given to you, you can, if you really think, right, you turn the bulb on of your mind, mental, then you can think. So please do that always, right? That don't, I tell you that go to a new slide, stop it, just read the heading. Don't listen to me, don't go to the notes, think on it, right? And then you will see. So of course, let us see now. Hot working is carried out above recrystallization temperature. No hardening after hot work. I will come to this later on. Less force required for deformation, isn't it? Because the higher the temperature, the softer or the more plastic or the more ductile the material is. So with a little force you can deform more. Light and less powerful equipment is required as material is highly plastic. Do you understand? If you had to deform the same material at room temperature, you would need very large forces. But now it is pretty hot, so it is very soft. So therefore, you will need less power, and that means the weight of the machine will also be low. But handling of hot material is difficult, right? If it is at 300, 400 Celsius, then handling is very difficult. This is tough. Surface finish is poor. Surface finish is poor. I will come back to it later on. No cracks and blowholes. I'll come back. Mechanical properties are improved. We have to think about it. Brittle materials can be hot worked. This is brilliant. You see, normally brittle materials mean you apply load, apply load, apply load. They are very strong or less strong. But as soon as you apply sufficient load, they suddenly break. They don't deform, isn't it? Materials like ceramics and materials like very hard metals. You apply force, nothing happens, and suddenly they break. So manufacturing is not done. Manufacturing means you want to change the shape into the shape of the die or whatever. But if you are above the recrystallization temperature, then even a brittle material has become very soft and ductile. So therefore, by increasing the temperature, you can now mold this very difficult to manufacture material more easily. So this is a huge advantage of hot working, right? A huge advantage of hot working, that brittle materials can be hot worked. Some points we'll come back. Hardening. Tell me, we have discussed it in the previous chapter. From your material science, from your stress strain diagram, what were the regions? This is elastic region. This is yielding region. Then there was, yes, a strain hardening region. And then there was necking region. So as soon as you say the word hardening, it means you are talking of the strain hardening. That by applying loads, does the material become harder and stronger? That is hardening. Does that happen in hot working? Yes or no? Just think. You see, when you were doing strain hardening in material science, the other word was cold working. When you do cold working, you get strain hardening. When you do hot working, you don't get it, because the material is so much plastic now that you don't need to apply a very large load to make it plastically deform. The material has already become plastic because of heat, not because of application of load. So therefore, when you are doing a hot working, hardening cannot be done. Hardening or strain hardening can be done only when you are doing cold working, right? So this was one thing. Surface finish. Let me ask you something. You are doing cold working. There is a die and you are pushing a material with a very high force through the die at room temperature. Will the surface be very good? Or compared to it, you have a die, but now you have heated the material so that it has become semi-plastic already, and now you force the material through the die with a much less force. So will now the surface finish be better? If you are thinking correctly, surface finish will be affected by what? By friction of the material with the die surface. The material is being pushed through the die. So there is friction there, right? Cold working, there is very high friction. Hot working, the friction is less because at a much lower load, the material can be pushed through. So based on this logic, based on this science or this physics, cold working should have surface problems because the friction is very high, and hot working should have lesser amount of surface problems because the material can easily flow through the die, right? But here they are saying that in hot working, surface finish is poor. So this is contra to what you just thought. What you just discussed was logical. But complete the sentence. Due to formation of scaling and oxidation, not because of friction. From a friction viewpoint, hot working is better because the forces of friction are lower. But what happens when you increase the temperature to several hundred Celsius? Then materials start to chemically react and a new film can be formed on the surface. So you are not having the same material that you started with. The surface is something else. So therefore, surface finish problems in hot working are not because of the loads, but because of scales and oxidations and so on that form on the surface. So this had to be really thought out, right? That from a friction force viewpoint, hot working is better. But from a chemical reaction viewpoint on the surface, hot working is bad. No cracks and blowholes. Now, two different things. When we are doing cold working, as I just said, there will be very strong friction forces on the surface when the material is in contact with the die. So if we don't control it, if the speed at which we are doing it, if force is already very high, but if the speed at which we are doing it is also high, then cracks will appear on the surface, right? Because the friction force is very high. So that can happen in cold working. In hot working, those cracks cannot form. Blowholes are something else. If you remember your casting, then if air is entrapped inside, then there are holes inside which can be called blowholes, right? So in hot working, those blowholes will also not be there. Now, mechanical properties are improved. Now, this is a very, very tough question. I will give it to you that think of this one thing for a long time. First of all, what are mechanical properties? What do you mean by mechanical properties? Right? Yield strength, ultimate strength, ductility, hardness, impact strength, toughness, all are mechanical properties. So when you say mechanical properties are improved, which are improved, which are deteriorated, you think on it first. Second, again compare with cold working, right? We are thinking of hot working against cold working. We are not thinking of any operation, not whether it is forging or extrusion, just general hot working. So when you say mechanical properties are improved, then what do you mean, right? So think on it, please. Stop this slide. Don't listen further to me. Don't go further into my notes and try to answer this, that in hot working, what mechanical properties are improved and why? And again, what mechanical properties deteriorate, go down, and why? So think on it, take 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and write several points so that you can guarantee to yourself that whatever science and engineering I have learned earlier, I can think of it and justify my answers. Okay? Okay. So when you are listening to me now, it means you paused me earlier, you thought of several different points, and after thinking of them, you are now coming back to me. Now, let me tell you, strain hardening, right? Mechanical properties improve or not? The answer can never be yes or no. Why? You see, strain hardening means hardness and strength is improving. That is it. The name is strain hardening. Because of applying a strain in cold working, you increase the strength of the material or hardness of the material. So hardness and strength are improved by strain hardening, and strain hardening is also cold working. So in cold working, these mechanical properties, hardness and strength, they improve. Here we are saying mechanical properties are improved in hot working. So that is why I said that this sentence is not totally correct, it is not totally incorrect. We have to specify. So in terms of hardness and strength, cold working is better. It improves it. But while strength and hardness improve, which major property goes down? You know, ductility. Ductility reduces. Earlier ductility was, say, 20%. After you have done strain hardening, the strength has gone up, but the ductility may have gone from 20% to 15% to 10%. So we cannot say overall that mechanical properties are improved. No, some will be improved, some will be lowered or lost, right? So even in cold working, strain hardening, hardness and strength go up, ductility goes down, right? But now think of hot working. You are doing hot working. You have increased the temperature to 200, 300 Celsius. Then you are pushing it through the die, and after that it is the actual shape. But then it is cooling also, isn't it? It is cooling also because it has gone to 200-300 and then it will come back to room temperature. So what mechanical properties can be improved? So again, go back to your material science chapter, 2 chapters perhaps. One was phase diagrams and phase transformation, and the other was engineering alloys like steel.